Hey there, welcome back. Today we're unveiling 10 mind-blowing psychological facts about women that will completely change the way you see the world. Brace yourself, as 97% of men have no clue about these secrets and often face rejection. But guess what? You can join the elite 5% who truly stand out by understanding these facts. Ladies, this isn't just for the guys. Knowing these truths about yourselves will make you magnetic and irresistible. Before we dive in, could you do me a quick favor? Let's keep this fun. Now, let's jump into these incredible insights that will transform your understanding of women and relationships. Here's the truth. Most men think attraction is about looks, money, or slick words. It's not. It's about presence, subtle cues, unspoken rules, and the psychology that's been right in front of you this whole time but no one ever explained, until now. So pay attention. What you're about to learn doesn't just change your dating life, it changes how you carry yourself in every interaction with women. And if you're a woman watching this, you're about to see why some men capture your attention effortlessly, while others never even stand a chance. Let's get started. Number 1. Women fall in love because of smell. Let's get this straight. If you're not paying attention to how you smell, you're probably missing the most primal way to get her attention. We're not talking about expensive cologne or the latest trend in grooming. We're talking raw biology. Women are wired to react to scent. It's not some cliché you hear in a perfume. This is backed by science. A study from the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro found that if a woman enjoys a man's scent, her attraction to him can increase by up to 85.5%. That's not minor. That's a biological shift. And here's the kicker. Women have 50% more neurons in the olfactory bulb than men. In simple terms, her nose picks up what yours doesn't. She's detecting pheromones, stress levels, testosterone, and more, all without even realizing it. That subtle mix of your natural scent, your skin chemistry, and how it blends with the products you use, this is one of your biggest unspoken tools in attraction. But here's where guys screw it up. They mask everything with overpowering cologne, or worse, skip the basics like proper hygiene. If she can't pick up your real scent, you're off the radar before the conversation even starts. What should you do instead? Pick a fragrance that complements your natural body chemistry. Stick with something clean, masculine, and understated. Think wood, musk, or spice. No, that overbearing teenage body spray nonsense. Use it sparingly. Own spray on the neck, one on the wrist. Done. Let her lean in. Let her discover it. The mystery makes it work. And don't underestimate how scent ties into memory. A smell can take her back to a moment, a feeling, a night. And if that memory is tied to you, you've won a space in her subconscious she can't easily erase. So while most men obsess over their clothes, their haircut, their pickup lines, you're going to win by showing up with something invisible but unforgettable. Smell good, smell like you, but a better, cleaner, more refined version of you. Because when she catches that scent and it hits just right, the walls come down before you even say a word. You want her to remember you after you've left the room. You want her to feel pulled back toward you without even knowing why. It starts here. Now let's keep going deeper. Number 2. Women prefer men who have their own way. Let's be honest, there's nothing attractive about a man who bends at every turn, waiting for a woman to make the call on everything. Older women especially, they've seen that type. Dated him, got bored of him, moved on. What actually pulls a woman in, especially one who's mature, self-aware, and experienced, is a man who has his own way, his own path, his own rhythm. A man who isn't looking for permission to be who he is. When you have your own way, you're not cold or inflexible, you're clear, purposeful. And that's what separates a man she respects from a man she manages. See, a woman can be powerful, smart, independent, and still crave a man who moves with conviction. It's not about dominance, it's about certainty. When you walk into a room, she's scanning. Is this man grounded? Does he know who he is? Or is he just mirroring whoever's in front of him? You think it's romantic to always ask, "What do you want to do?" or "I'll do whatever you want." But to her, that reads as weak. It says you don't have preferences, you don't have a spine. And if you can't lead in the little things like where to go or what to do, how can she trust you to lead when life gets messy? Having your own way doesn't mean being controlling. It means being intentional. You have a reason behind what you do. You make choices based on your values, your goals not, just her moods. And ironically, when a woman sees you living by your own code, she leans in. She wants to be part of your world, not the other way around. And if she's truly into you, she'll respect the fact that you're not trying to impress her every second. She'll admire that you have boundaries. She'll feel safer around you because she senses you're not easily swayed. Here's the thing. Older women don't want to mold you. They want to meet you fully formed. They want to know what turns you on, what fires you up, what you stand for. If you've been hiding those things to play it safe or seem agreeable, you've already lost the spark. So here's your challenge. Stop asking, "What does she want me to be?" and start asking, "Who am I becoming? And does she fit into that?" Your life is the frame. She's not the centerpiece. She's the woman who joins a man already building something. And when she sees that you're moving, regardless of her response, that you have vision and don't need constant validation, something shifts. Desire grows in that space between your strength and her curiosity. And that's where real connection begins. So if you want her to lean in, stop waiting for her cues. Start walking your path. She'll either keep you or she'll step aside. I walk my path. Drop that in the comments if you're done being molded and ready to move as a man. And listen closely, because what we're about to get into next will make this even more powerful. Number 3. Women often feel something but won't say it. Let's get real for a second. One of the biggest mistakes men make, especially with older women, is assuming that if she's not saying it, she's not feeling it. That silence means indifference. That because she's calm on the outside, nothing's happening underneath. Wrong. Women are emotional creatures by design, but not all of them are verbal about what they feel, especially the older, more mature ones. They've learned to control their expression, to play it cool, to not always say what's running through their head. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it completely. Here's what you need to understand. Just because she isn't expressing it doesn't mean she's not experiencing it. In fact, many times, the more she feels, the more quiet she becomes. She may pull back slightly, test your energy, observe how you move. That's not disinterest. That's data collection. She's reading your confidence. She's checking if you notice the shift. She's evaluating, are you tuned into her or only reacting to what's loud and obvious? This is where your emotional intelligence becomes your biggest asset. If you need everything spelled out for you, you'll miss her completely. But if you can sense the subtle shifts, the slower replies, the way her body tenses slightly, how her laugh doesn't quite reach her eyes, that's where you win. Older women, in particular, don't always want to explain their feelings. Why? Because they want a man who just gets it, not someone they have to constantly teach or walk through every emotion. They want that intuitive connection, the man who feels her silence, who knows that when she says, "I'm fine," she might not be. But instead of poking or panicking, he holds his ground, gives her space, and makes her feel safe enough to open up on her terms. And that's the real trick. You don't force her to talk. You create an atmosphere where she wants to. Your calm energy, your solid presence, it becomes a soft invitation. You're not demanding anything. You're simply staying connected without pressure. Now, here's where most guys mess up. They try to fix things too fast. She goes quiet, and they go into panic mode. They start asking a million questions, over-explaining, apologizing for things they didn't even do. And in doing so, they kill the moment. They reveal their emotional instability, and they lose her trust. What you should do instead is observe, acknowledge, but don't chase. Hold space. Let her know, without saying too much, that you're there, you're aware, and you're not shaken. That confidence, that groundedness, it's magnetic. She starts to feel seen, and once she feels seen, she softens. She starts revealing. Remember, her silence isn't rejection. It's a mirror. It's showing you how comfortable she is with your presence. If she feels you're calm even in her storm, she'll eventually move closer. And don't take every emotional fluctuation as an emergency. Women ride emotion. It's part of how they process the world. If you can be the one who doesn't flinch, doesn't rush, doesn't overreact, you become the anchor, the safe space. The man she stops testing and starts trusting. So next time she seems off but isn't saying anything, don't interrogate, don't retreat. Stay calm, stay kind, stay masculine. Let her come to you, because she will if you give her a reason to feel safe doing so. I read the silence. Drop that in the comments if you're done missing the signals and ready to lead with presence. Stick around, because what comes next shifts the game in ways most men never even consider. Number 4. Women are attracted to men who are pre-selected. Think about this for a second. A man walks into a room full of strangers. No one turns. Another walks in, surrounded by 2 women laughing, lightly touching his shoulder, clearly enjoying his company. Suddenly, heads turn. That's not an accident. That's psychology. It's called pre-selection, and it's one of the strongest subconscious triggers in female attraction, especially for older women who are more emotionally attuned and socially experienced. Pre-selection means that a woman sees you as already approved by other women. It's not something you can fake, it's something you live. Women don't just want a man who's good in theory. They want a man who other women have already verified. Why? Because it bypasses doubt. It signals value, desirability, and most of all safety in selection. You might wonder, does this apply to older women too? Absolutely. In fact, it may matter even more. Older women have been through relationships. They've been hurt. They've seen charming masks fall off. So when they see a man who is naturally attractive to other women, not just physically, but emotionally, socially, spiritually, it tells them this man's value isn't self-proclaimed, it's proven. And don't confuse pre-selection with being a player. That's not the point. It's not about sleeping around or collecting numbers. It's about showing, through your life, that you have the social intelligence, presence, and energy that other high-value women respond to. It might be the way your female co-workers light up when you walk in, or how women at the gym feel comfortable saying hi. It might even be how your female friends speak about you with genuine respect when you're not around. Older women notice these things: subtle social cues, body language, emotional fluency, the way you make others feel. Pre-selection is woven through all of it. And here's something that might shock you: the less you try to impress, the stronger your pre-selection appears. Why? Because men who are already chosen don't chase approval. They already have it. That unbothered energy, that's magnetism. Now, let's flip the coin. If a woman senses that no other woman finds you interesting, she might start asking why not. Is he emotionally unavailable? Is he difficult? Is he hiding something? The lack of pre-selection creates uncertainty, and uncertainty kills attraction. So, how do you build authentic pre-selection if you're not currently dating anyone or surrounded by women? It starts with investing in a life that attracts connection. Build your network. Be socially generous. Uplift others without trying to get something back. Make women feel safe, seen, and respected with no agenda. That energy echoes. That energy is noticed. That's the stuff older women pick up on, and they don't need words to feel it. Bottom line, you're not trying to manipulate her. You're living in a way that naturally communicates, I'm valuable, I've been chosen, and I'm not desperate for anyone's approval. When you live like that, you don't chase women. You choose them, and that's when they really start noticing you. Now let me hear from you in the comments. Lock in your mindset with this one bold statement. I attract effortlessly. Drop it below and let the world know where you stand. And listen, if you're someone who's tired of guessing what works, if you're ready to stop performing and start leading with real substance, then you'll want to stick around. What comes next isn't just important, it could be the one insight that flips the whole script. Stay sharp. Number 5. If she teases you, she's interested. Let's kill the confusion right now. Teasing isn't rejection. Teasing is attraction in disguise. Especially when it comes from older women who are often more subtle, more skilled, and more strategic in how they express interest. So when she throws a playful jab, mocks your shirt, or accidentally brushes off your ego with a smile, don't take it personally. She's not attacking, she's inviting. This is how many women, particularly the more experienced, emotionally seasoned ones, initiate flirtation. Not with a direct compliment, not by confessing feelings, but with a playful challenge. Why? Because it creates tension, it sparks back and forth energy, and more than anything, it gives her a front row seat to how you handle pressure. Now pay close attention here. When she teases, she's not just having fun, she's testing your frame. Can you stay grounded? Do you laugh it off or get flustered? Do you tease back or start explaining yourself? In that moment, your reaction tells her volumes about who you are as a man. That's the real game underneath the words. Older women especially value emotional intelligence. They're not drawn to surface-level charm. They want to feel a man's presence, how he carries himself, how he thinks on his feet, how he responds when the energy shifts. So when she throws that first jab, don't retreat. Smile. Throw one back light, respectful, clever. Keep the rhythm going. That's what she's waiting for. Now let's be clear. There's a difference between playful teasing and disrespect. If she's genuinely insulting or cutting you down, that's not flirtation, that's projection, or worse, manipulation. You should always know your boundaries and walk away from toxic energy. But if it's playful, slightly provocative, if it's paired with smiles, lingering eye contact, maybe a laugh she tries to hide, that's green light energy all day long. What makes this even more interesting is that many men miss the signal entirely. They think teasing is disinterest, or they freeze up, overthink, and try to clarify what she meant. Big mistake. Because if she has to explain the game is over. That moment was her window, and how you handle it determines whether she opens the door wider or walks away. And here's the bigger truth. Teasing is foreplay. It's verbal foreplay. It creates friction, which builds attraction. It makes things fun, unpredictable, alive. That's what pulls her in, not your resume, not your six-pack, not your smooth lines. She wants to feel something real, spontaneous, and electric. Teasing, when done right, unlocks all of that. So next time a woman calls you a troublemaker, raises her eyebrow at your taste in music, or tells you she wasn't expecting you to be this confident, don't play defense, play along. Keep the energy light but sharp. Keep the power dynamic, respectful but playful. That's where the chemistry lives. This is how you become unforgettable, not by trying to impress, but by being present, playful, and unfazed. When you can hold your frame while keeping things fun, you communicate something powerful. I'm not just a man, I'm a man who gets women. All right, now it's your turn. Drop this in the comments to own your frame. I stay playful. That's your reminder and your declaration. And if you've ever wanted to turn tension into connection without forcing anything, you're going to want to stick around. The next shift will make everything click. Stay tuned. Number 6. Women prefer men who understand their unspoken language. Here's the truth: most men miss women rarely say exactly what they feel, especially older women. They don't spell it out, they imply it. They show it in a look, a pause, a change in tone, a shift in body language. If you're only listening to what she says and not how she says it, you're only catching half the message. Women, especially those who have lived through real emotional complexity, communicate in layers. One sentence can have 3 meanings. One glance can say more than a 10-minute monologue, and the man who can read between the lines, that's the man who instantly stands out. Let's make this real. Say she tells you, "I'm fine." You hear the words, but the tone is flat. Her eyes look away. Her arms are crossed. Is she fine? Of course not. She's waiting to see if you can pick up on what's really going on. This isn't about playing games. It's about emotional fluency, about understanding that women often test connection through indirect expression, especially when they care. And here's what separates a strong man from a confused one: the ability to stay present and intuitive, to sense the shift, to slow down and tune in, instead of brushing it off. A man like that doesn't overreact. He doesn't panic or pressure. He simply notices. He asks the right question. He makes her feel seen, not because she had to explain herself, but because he understood her without words. This is a deeply attractive quality, because to a woman, it signals safety. It signals depth. It tells her, this man isn't just trying to get something from me. He's attuned. He's grounded. He can handle me, even the parts I don't know how to say. And you know what's even more powerful? When you don't just hear her silence, but you respond to it with clarity. Maybe she withdraws. You don't chase. You give space, but stay open. Maybe she shifts her energy. You match it, then gently invite her back. That's emotional leadership. That's how you build trust without pressure. Let's be real. Most guys either push too hard or back off too fast. They get thrown off by mixed signals. They think women are confusing. But what they don't realize is women aren't confusing. You just haven't trained yourself to read the emotional language yet. Want to change that? Start by observing. Watch how her energy shifts when she's truly comfortable. Learn her rhythms. Pay attention to how she reacts when she's testing, when she's open, when she's unsure. Over time, you'll learn to respond not with scripted lines but with real awareness. That's what turns attraction into depth. And let's go even deeper. This skill doesn't just help you connect with women. It sharpens you as a man. It makes you a better leader, communicator, and partner. Because the ability to understand unspoken emotions is power, quiet power, and women feel it instantly. So next time she goes quiet, next time she says one thing but her body says another, don't jump to fix it. Don't demand clarity. Just stay present. Breathe. Notice. Then respond from stillness, not insecurity. That's what earns respect. That's what builds trust. And that's what makes her choose you again and again. Let me ask you, are you the kind of man who picks up what others miss? If you are, go claim it in the comments right now. I hear without words. And if you think you've seen what women respond to, wait until you see what they can't resist. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Stay sharp. Number 7. Women are particularly concerned with their appearance during intimacy. Let's talk about something most men don't realize, but once you do, it changes everything. When it comes to intimacy, many women, especially older women, aren't just thinking about the connection or the chemistry. They're thinking about how they look in the moment, and not in a shallow way, in a vulnerable, deeply human way. She could be feeling attraction, desire, even love, and still in the back of her mind be wondering, do I look good in this light? Is he noticing that wrinkle? What does my stomach look like from this angle? It's not vanity. It's a mix of biology, experience, and the pressure women feel often silently about being seen. And the older she gets, the louder that voice becomes. Why? Because society has told her over and over again that a woman's value fades with age. That youth equals beauty. That softness equals worth. So even when she's with a man she truly wants, even when desire is building, she can pull back not because she doesn't want you, but because she's suddenly in her head, not in her body. That's why how you respond in these moments matters more than you know. The man who rushes, who's too focused on his own pleasure, who doesn't slow down to see her, that man confirms her fears. But the man who is fully present, the one who touches her, not to claim, but to appreciate, the one who compliments her in moments when she's unsure, that man builds something unforgettable. Intimacy for a woman is not just physical, it's emotional, psychological, and deeply tied to how she feels in her own skin. If she feels judged even subtly, she'll close off. But if she feels safe, admired, and desired, she'll open in ways that surprise you both. Let me tell you this, the most magnetic thing a man can do in those moments isn't to perform, it's to pause, to look her in the eyes, to slow things down, to make her feel beautiful without her having to ask. That's rare, that's powerful, and that's what makes her trust you, not just with her body, but with her vulnerability. And here's something that might shock you: when a woman feels deeply seen and accepted exactly as she is, she becomes more confident, more playful, and more expressive than you imagined. Because now it's not about performance, it's about connection. So the next time you're with a woman, especially an older woman, remember this. What you say during the intimate moments isn't just pillow talk, it's a mirror. She hears it as a reflection of how you truly see her. Make those words count. Let your actions say, "You're beautiful now," not 10 years ago. Let your attention say, "You're desirable in your wholeness," not in some filtered version of yourself. That kind of masculine presence, it doesn't just spark desire, it earns devotion. Now, if you're the kind of man who makes her feel seen, go ahead and drop this in the comments. I make her feel beautiful. And listen, if you think this kind of emotional power only shows up in the bedroom, you're not seeing the full picture. What's coming next is something most men overlook, and women never forget. Stick around, it's worth it. Number 8. Emotional connection enhances physical pleasure. Let's cut through the noise for a second. You want to know what separates a forgettable experience from one that sticks in her mind and heart for days, weeks, even years. It's not about tricks. It's not about moves. It's not about being perfect. It's about connection. Real emotional connection. Most men are so focused on the act, they forget the atmosphere. They think physical attraction alone will carry the moment. But what actually ignites her desire, especially for older women who've seen more, felt more, lived more, is the energy between you. It's how you make her feel. If she feels emotionally safe, emotionally seen, that's when everything changes. Because when a woman is emotionally connected, her body stops resisting, her mind stops overthinking, she stops monitoring herself, and what takes its place? Presence, vulnerability, a deeper kind of trust. And with that trust, her desire comes alive. Now, I'm not saying you need to be some overly sensitive, emotionally expressive poet. I'm saying you need to tune in. If you're in your head, chasing the moment, she'll feel it. But if you're locked in, grounded, and truly present, she'll feel you. And she'll respond in ways you don't need to force. For women, pleasure isn't just about sensation, it's about surrender. And no woman can surrender when she feels unsure about where she stands with you. But give her clarity, show up with consistent masculine presence. Let her feel that she's wanted, not for validation, but for who she is in that moment, and her walls start melting away. There's a reason women say things like, "It's not what he did, it's how he made me feel." That's not some romantic cliché, that's neuroscience. Her brain responds to emotional attunement. It registers safety as sensuality. That's why the emotional climate always affects the physical experience. And if you think emotional connection takes months to build, you're wrong. It can happen in minutes. It happens when you look her in the eye and mean it. When you slow down. When you speak truthfully. When you're fully in the moment, not rushing toward the finish line. You can literally shift her entire experience by doing one thing, being fully there. No distractions, no masks, no ego. Because when you stop performing and start connecting, that's when intimacy becomes electric. Now here's something you may not expect. When a woman feels emotionally bonded, she also becomes bolder. She takes initiative. She explores more. Why? Because she's not thinking about approval. She's not calculating every move. She's flowing. And that's when things get real. So stop underestimating the power of emotional connection. It doesn't make you less of a man. It makes you unforgettable. You want to create moments that linger in her mind long after you've left. Start with presence. Start with honesty. Start with listening not just to her words, but to her energy. If you're the kind of man who brings emotional depth, say it loud in the comments. I connect before I touch. And trust me, we're only scratching the surface. What comes next isn't just about understanding women, it's about unlocking something inside you that most men never realize they have. Keep watching. You're about to see why this matters more than you think. Number 9. Women often adore their friends more than their partners. Now this one's going to sting a little, but if you've ever felt like your woman lights up more when she's around her best friends than she does with you, you're not crazy. You noticed something real. It's not about competition. It's not about jealousy. It's about emotional fulfillment. Because here's a truth that most men overlook. Many women feel more seen, more emotionally supported, and more unconditionally accepted by their close friends than by the men they date or even marry. And if you've ever been on the receiving end of that emotional gap where you're putting in effort, showing up, being dependable yet still feel like you're second place to brunch dates and late-night phone calls with her girls, it's not just in your head. Why does this happen? Because in a lot of relationships, men focus so much on providing and solving that they forget to connect. Meanwhile, her friends, they're validating her emotions, reflecting her energy, giving her the back and forth she craves on a feeling level. No solutions, no fixes, just resonance. And it matters because, for many women, emotional resonance is intimacy. Now, does this mean you need to act like one of her girlfriends? Of course not. You're her man, not her emotional clone. But it does mean you can't neglect emotional leadership. If she doesn't feel that same level of warmth, curiosity, and openness from you that she gets from her friends, she'll start building a wall. And what happens next is subtle, but powerful. She starts sharing less. She starts turning to her circle before she turns to you. And over time, that creates distance, a kind of slow, emotional drift. You'll feel it in her tone, in her touch, in how much effort she puts into your time together. Now here's the good news, you can shift this. When you start becoming the man she can talk to, not just the man who shows up on paper, everything changes. When you listen without rushing to fix, when you express without shutting down, when you actually care about her world, not just your role in it, she'll feel it. You become someone she doesn't just love, you become someone she trusts with her truth. And once that emotional trust is built, the need to outsource that connection to her friends drops. Not because her friendships are less important, but because you've stepped into your full masculine capacity. You're not trying to replace her friends. You're showing her that you can hold space for her. And here's the flip side most guys never consider. When she sees that emotional depth in you, her attraction skyrockets. Because now you're not just safe, you're stimulating. You're not just reliable, you're rare. So the next time you feel like she's giving more affection, more time, or more loyalty to her friends than to you, don't get bitter. Get honest. Ask yourself, am I giving her a relationship that speaks to her emotions, or am I just showing up as a provider with a routine? Because once you make that shift, you'll be surprised how fast she gravitates back. Not out of obligation, out of desire. Now let's turn this insight into action. If you're the kind of man who knows how to create emotional connection without losing your masculine edge, prove it in the comments. I lead emotionally. And if you're still with me, you already know the real power in relationships doesn't come from control, status, or game. It comes from understanding. And what's coming next? You'll see why that kind of understanding is your greatest advantage. Number 10. Some women accept dates just for free food. Let's get real for a second. We're not here to sugarcoat things, and this one's going to hit hard for some of you. Yes, some women say yes to a date, not because they're interested, not because they're curious about who you are, but simply because they're hungry, or bored, or both. Sounds harsh? It is, but it's also true. There's even a name for it, foodie calls. Not booty calls, foodie calls. It's when a woman agrees to meet up, knowing full well she has zero romantic interest, but she's down for a steak dinner or a fancy brunch. Now, before we go blaming all women, let's pause. Not every woman does this. Not even most women, but some do. And if you've ever walked away from a date wondering why the conversation felt cold, why the eye contact never really locked in, why she kept checking her phone, now you know. This is about awareness. This is about value. And this is about self-respect. Because if you're leading with your wallet, if you think that taking her to the most expensive rooftop in the city is what's going to earn her desire, you've already lost. You're not attracting her. You're buying time. And here's the brutal part. If a woman senses that you're trying to win her attention with perks instead of presents, she'll use you without even flinching. That's not about her being evil. That's about her reading your frame and realizing you're more invested in impressing than in connecting. So how do you avoid becoming a free meal? Simple. Stop putting the dinner first. Put the connection first. The energy, the presence, the vibe. If you want to really test a woman's interest, suggest a simple walk in the park, or grab a coffee and sit outside. Keep the first meet casual, light, low stakes. Why? Because in that space, there's nothing to gain but you. No fancy meals. No flashy scenes, just presence. And trust me, that's where the real attraction either shows up or it doesn't. And if she flakes because you didn't offer a full-course tasting menu, that's a gift. She just revealed who she is. You didn't lose anything. You saved your time, your money, and your peace. Now, for the guys thinking, but what if I enjoy treating women well? Great, you should, when it's earned, when there's mutual energy, when the interest is real. But don't confuse generosity with strategy. Don't lead with the offer, lead with the invitation to connect. Remember this, women don't remember the food. They remember how they felt with you. They remember the spark, the energy, the sense of mystery. You want her looking at you across the table and thinking, I want more of him, not just more appetizers. And here's the twist most guys miss when a woman feels you. When she's emotionally and mentally engaged, she won't care where you are. You could be sitting on the curb with 2 slices of pizza and a bottle of water, and she'll feel more chemistry than in a 5-star restaurant with a guy who's trying too hard. It's not the setting, it's the man. So stop treating your time, attention, and resources like bait. Start treating them like gifts, reserved only for women who show up with honesty, presence, and genuine curiosity. If you're the kind of man who understands that value doesn't beg that your presence is already a privilege, I want you to drop it in the comments. I bring the value. And listen closely, this isn't just about spotting who's using you. It's about stepping into the kind of masculine confidence that can't be used. That's what you'll need next. Stick around. What's coming will change how you move forever. And that's it for today, brother. If any part of this video spoke to you even just one moment, then this channel is where you belong. Don't just watch and scroll. Subscribe now. Join the mission. This is where men level up with clarity, presence, and power. And if you're ready to go deeper, to sharpen your edge and move differently in this world, then join the Stoic Brotherhood. It's more than content. It's a community built on discipline, mindset, and real-world results. See you tomorrow.